T for time. Welcome back to Timeout. I'm actually surprised I'm sitting here right now and functioning because after the weekend I had, it was busy. It was a lot, as we say, on the morning after, and we'll get into more of it on the morning after. But just to give you a quick recap, I started off Friday night Thursday. We started Thursday, which we'll get into that game. What a game. Thursday night football is so fun. Night games are just... you know what's funny? I talked about players not liking night games. Man, as a fan, they're so much more fun.
That was the most fun I've ever had at a game with you.
At a Rams game. I mean, it was great. And obviously winning makes it more fun. So that was good. Started at Thursday night. Friday, we rose early, rised, whatever you want to call it. I hate those. It's drank, drunk, rose, rise. You guys know what I'm saying. We arose early. Is that a word?
I don't even want to. I want you to keep trying. But
I hate you. Okay.
You got up early.
We woke up very early and got things prepared, our girls, and surprised them with the Taylor Swift concert. They didn't know anything till we got to the plane, which was pretty awesome. So we did that on Friday night. We flew back Friday night. So we got in around like 3 a.m. Woke up on Saturday, arose on Saturday, went straight to the girls' soccer game.
Oh.
Yes, which we scored 0 points again. 0 goals, if you will. So, not a waste of time by any means, but wow, to sit through that. And then after that, we had our house turned upside down for the team Halloween party.
Love that. Need the details on the Rams Halloween party.
You know what? And I will go into more detail on the morning after. But it was really fun. And then thank goodness yesterday, Tata took our kids for a little bit so we could recuperate all day yesterday and watch some football. So I got to watch football with Matthew, which was nice. And here we are today.
Here we are. And football and Taylor Swift and Halloween were not even the only crazy thing that happened this weekend, because LA is...
Oh, I was like, where are we going with this? I don't know. It's like, I thought that was the only crazy thing.
No.
Yes.
Baseball.
Yes. World Series is here. Dodgers up 2-0. Now we're in New York. So I love the World Series. Baseball for me has always been a little tougher because it's a little slower. Now they've sped it up because of the pitch clock, which is kind of fun. Maybe we'll spin this into a multiple sports podcast. I don't know. Want to learn about other sports?
And then we both won't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. But it was always like pretty slow for me. Also, it's like one-on-one in a way. It's pitcher versus catcher. I mean, yeah, that works, Kelly. Pitcher versus batter. And it's I love it. It's an awesome sport. But I do love the playoff baseball. There's nothing like. It's turning into fall. The leaves are changing. The fans are loud. You're not sweating anymore. Sometimes it can be really cold. It's interesting. We're gonna go from the heat of LA to New York. You know what I mean? The difference in temperatures is interesting to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm kind of glad it wasn't 2 New York teams playing each other, because that's kind of
boring.
Also, what about the rest of the country?
Yeah.
What if we're not New Yorkers?
Yeah, now it's a coast to coast type of playoff game.
Yes, and it's been honestly really fun to watch. So rooting the Dodgers on for that tonight and tomorrow. If you're there, lucky you. Grab a hot dog. Don't put anything on it, because that is the only way to eat a hot dog.
Kelly Stafford raw dogs.
Damn right I do. Time out, Kira.
It's too early.
Time out. Time back in, though. One more thing with baseball, which I just want to mention. My grandmother's a huge baseball fan.
Oh, really?
Yes, Winnie. She watches every Braves game. I'm talking one year for Christmas, I gave her Scotch glasses that were engraved with the World Series that the Braves just won. It was her favorite gift. So Winnie, I know she's listening, so love you. And she's kind of like the reason I love sports. I used to watch them with her all the time. She's also got a 6-pack still. So
wait, so Winnie is a hashtag girl who knows sports?
Winnie is a hashtag girl who knows sports. Winnie is the OG girl who knows sports. So Winnie, I love you, but it's been a memory for a long time. And every time I watch baseball, I always think of my grandmother. So there's that. And then I have one more. I have a timeout already.
Oh,
okay. So yesterday we're watching football and everyone's like, oh my gosh. Give me a tight end. George Kittle on his day scores a
Oh,
touchdown. And I'm going, is it his birthday? I'm looking up. It's not his birthday. And then I realize it's National Tight End Day.
which like Hank would have a field day with that.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I have a tight end, I feel like. I got a tight booty.
I think we all have really tight ends.
ends. So why is it my National Day?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll take it because I don't really understand. Why do they get a national holiday?
I don't know. Is there any other position that we know of that has a national day?
No. I do think quarterbacks, like every day is National Quarterback Day, so they shouldn't get one.
Sure.
But I was like watching this game going, I'm sorry, I think the linemen, the offense and defensive linemen should have a national day because without them, nothing fucking works. It's true. You ask anybody, quarterbacks are very important. Yes, they are. But offensive line, that's huge because that's you running the ball
Yeah.
and you pass protecting. If you don't have an offensive line, you have a good quarterback, you can't really use him because he doesn't have time.
Mm,
If you have a good running back but no offensive line, they can't go anywhere.
it's true.
I mean, maybe they can make something happen more than others if they're really, really good. But really, the lines. And
Yeah.
defensive-wise, if you can get to the quarterback, you change the game.
Well, what I don't understand, so did this start as a joke and did it manifest into a real thing or was it already a thing?
I don't know. I do believe they made it for themselves, which good for them. Because
Yeah.
that was well done. I don't know who maybe it was George Kittle, maybe it was I don't know who it was.
I think it was.
It was smart. Great marketing. Really smart. Offensive lineman, y'all got to figure that out. Someone needs to come out and declare it National Offensive Lineman Day or Defensive Lineman. You know, just do it. And then everyone will be like, woo.
Yeah, they deserve some star power too. I can't even name a single offensive lineman.
You know what? And that is usually how it is. They are very underrated and very, what is it called when you're not thankful enough for them?
Yeah.
What is that
they're underappreciated.
Underappreciated. Most underappreciated sports position there is.
I can think of Wit. That's all.
And that's because he's on TV. So,
yes.
But it really is. Most underappreciated position in sports is, I would say, both line, like defensive and offensive, because you need them both. Oh man, I love that this company is coming on right now because it is the perfect timing with Thanksgiving around the corner. I'm talking about cookware, bakeware. I'm also just talking about beautiful pieces, servingware. Guys, it is all from our place. Listen, you know, a lot of us are trying to do better with our family's food. So we're cooking these organic things. We're doing our best. But little do we know that the cookware we're using and the appliances all have PFAS in them. And what's that? That's a chemical. It is a chemical. It's not good. And this is why I love our place because none of their stuff has it. They are leading the change when it comes to not having the toxic chemicals in their stuff. And not only that, it just looks beautiful. I'm talking, look at it for Thanksgiving. I think your mind will be blown. One of my favorite things that's coming out is the Wonder Oven. Guys, this thing is an all-in-one. It is, first of all, adorable, but it can air fry, bake, roast, toast, reheat, and boil. And they have all these cute colors of it. So go to FromOurPlace.com and enter my code MORNING at checkout to receive 10% off site-wide. That's FromOurPlace.com, code MORNING. Our Place offers a 100-day trial with free shipping and returns. If you don't like it, return it. There's no harm in trying it. I'm about to use my own discount code and go find some stuff for Thanksgiving, so I hope you guys do the same. All right. Anyways, I'm off that spill. Time back in. It was big NFL day yesterday. Lots of things happening. The Lions put up 50 points. Dear Lord, I was like, I turned the game. They were winning, so we moved games to a different game for a little bit, come back, and we're like, oh my goodness. And so, you know me, I'm like, what has happened? So I'm looking up the stat line. You know what it told me? They're just loaded on every side of the ball.
That's a hell of a team.
They have offense. They have defense. They have special teams. I actually showed Skiera. Wow, it's Monday and it's a long weekend. I told Kiera, I showed her a stat line, and it was the punt returner for the Lions, and he had like 5 punt returns for 190 yards.
And listen, it's important to know how many we had in our game on Thursday night.
Yes.
As reference.
We had 1 punt return. Now, here's the thing. There could have been more punts, but you fair catch it doesn't count. So it's not doesn't count as a return. And we'll go over all, like a fair catch is when they wave their hand up and they catch it and you can't touch them. Okay. If they don't wave their hand, they're fair game to be tackled, whatever. But anyways, so we had one punt return for 4 yards.
4 versus 192.
190 off of 5 punt returns. So he had one for a touchdown, and they had a long kickoff return. I mean, you look everywhere on the Detroit Lions, and there are just playmakers. It's awesome. It's fun to be a Detroit Lions fan right now. Y'all enjoy all of it.
Are you jealous?
I mean, no.
Timeout.
I'm out, Kira. No, honestly, being a part of that sports town, I'm jealous because I bet it's so fun right now.
Yeah.
So we also, obviously, our game was big, beating the Vikings. Also, you're welcome, Lions, because I know that was big for them. That's in their division. That was huge, a huge win for us. We finally got some people back, and it felt good. It felt easier.
So much easier. Yeah, it wasn't just such a struggle the whole game.
Yes, like it just, sometimes you just feel like every first down is like, God, like we got to get this first down. This last game was kind of like we were just moving, which was awesome. It felt good. I know it felt good for that team. Felt even better since we had the Halloween party. I was like, thank goodness we won. Good vibes.
Morale was high.
Yes, it was way better. Browns defeating the Ravens. That was one that no one saw coming. Jameis Winston was in because of the injury that happened to Deshaun Watson, which is horrible. Speaking of injuries, we had one go down, and this goes with the Deshaun Watson situation. As he went down, fans cheering during injuries. It's enough. You know what?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and rail on fans because you guys are also the reason that they get to play the sport that they love. But I do think there is some sort of line that is getting crossed that should never be crossed, and that is cheering when your players or when other teams' players go down. These are people who have families, this is their livelihood. So to cheer as you watch their kind of dreams crumble, I'm not really a fan of that. So
yeah, and allegedly in that situation, it was a good amount of people, but it wasn't a majority of the stadium. But on Thursday night during our game, one of our guys went down, and a majority of the Vikings fans were cheering.
Yes.
Saw that with my own eyes.
Oh, yes. And I think I looked at you like, oh, they were doing the skull chant.
Whatever that is.
The skull chant, while we had a player down. And, again, it just shouldn't happen. It really just shouldn't happen. Like we are all better people than that.
This is not ancient Rome. We are not wanting
We're
people.
not gladiators.
Yes.
Like this is just for fun. Like yes, it is fun for the fans. That is fun for them. This is also their jobs.
Yeah.
Like there's just a different feel about it all. But you know what? When you're at a game and you see someone go down, let's just think about the individual and not about the sport or the team or your fantasy fucking football team that I don't give a shit about. We just gotta be human in that and not, I don't know.
I think this is fair to say.
Okay, great. All right, so no time out there. Kansas City still undefeated. Not surprised there. Kelsey with his first touchdown of the season. I was kind of surprised to hear that.
That's his first?
Yeah.
Wow.
And everyone blames it on everything. Seasons are seasons. They all go differently. You can have a really good season, you have a really bad season. Shit happens. Anyways, okay. So then Bills take down the Seahawks. That's huge for us in our division. And I will say, I want to do a podcast, and I've talked to you about this, about just divisions in general. And we might do it within the trade podcast that we will be dropping next week because I know everyone's been asking about trades. So just wait for next week. Now, there was another thing with our game real quick, the missed face mask call.
Right.
At the end of the game for the safety. Yes, it was a missed call. Should have been called. Face masks in general are very dangerous because you're tweaking the neck and the head. I would hope players don't do that on purpose ever, but regardless whether it's on purpose or not, it is still a penalty. It should have been called. and this might be biased, but coming from my point of view, even if it was called, they would have to drive the length of the field and get the 2-point conversion. I don't remember how much time was on the clock, but it wasn't a lot. And it would have been, I do think it would have been a long shot anyways, but anything can happen in NFL football.
Right.
So they should have been given the shot. They were not. But there are missed calls all around the league every day.
I'm not going to lie. I personally saw like at least 1 or 2 face masks that weren't called besides that one.
Yeah, and it happens. And there's holding. The refs can't see everything. But there is I believe there's a ref that is designated to the quarterback for those kind of things. So it should have been called. It should not have been missed. If that was Matthew in the end zone, you would hear a lot about it. So that's why we are talking about it, because I don't want to be too biased on this podcast.
Yeah, we'll admit it should have been called.
It should have been called. I was laughing too. You were talking about a player, I don't know if it was on our team or another team, that has yellow cleats.
Oh, thank goodness you brought this up.
Okay.
This is what I care about so much.
This is true.
Okay, so you guys understand, I am learning the game of football, and so when I am paying so close attention now when I go to games. I'm trying so hard, and I was sitting next to Kelly's neighbor friends who are the best,
Very awesome.
Olivia and Jess, and we made a touchdown or something, and everyone.
Hold on, we made a touchdown. I love you so much.
What?
We scored a touchdown.
Oh God!
You don't make touchdowns. That's okay. Go ahead.
Kelly loves this because it's like I'm usually the vocabulary snob, and I can't be.
I literally can't wait to just be like, did they make a touchdown that day? All right.
Anyway,
continue.
We scored a touchdown, and I swore on my mother's life that I saw a flag on the field, and everyone in the suite was cheering, and I was like, shut up. I was like, because you need to understand, if you ever cheer, like, if you ever cheer and you are wrong to, and you've made a fool out of yourself because you're going crazy, and then there's a flag on it traumatizes you, and you never want to do it again.
Can I give you a tea for time on that? How about the players who cheer when they score? They're spiking the ball. They're doing their dance.
So embarrassing.
And then there's a flag on the field and it gets reversed. Okay, so as much as you're embarrassed, think about them who are doing it in front of thousands of people, and they're like, shit.
And I'm just doing it in front of,
But I get it.
The whole Cooper Cup suite.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
anyway,
that's true.
So that's happened to me, traumatized. Anyway, I swear there's a flag on the field, and I grab Olivia's arm. I'm like, shh, there's a flag on the field. I'm like, stop cheering, calm down. And then she's like, what? And she's so sweet. So she was like, oh no, stop cheering, everyone. And then I look again, and I was like, wait, where's the flag? And then I realized it's because some of the Vikings players had yellow ass cleats on.
Listen, that's this is very interesting, the colored cleats. I talked about uniform fines, and I want to get into those. They're very nitpicky within the NFL about these fines or about the uniforms, but I'm surprised they allow yellow cleats.
I seriously, and I have perfect eyesight, by the way. This is not it's blurry.
Because what if he loses a shoe? And then Matthew sees yellow, he's like, oh, there's a flag, and he stops playing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean this. It was a joke at first, but I'm like, this actually seems like it could be a problem.
That is true. Well, I will say players are taught, and no, they do not stop until the whistle is blown. So even if there were yellow cleats and they were spotted, I think they would keep playing. But I do understand, maybe we change that, because it's it's confusing fans. Okay, so we matter too.
It's confusing me.
Yes.
Okay.
The fans matter too. So no more yellow cleats. All right, we're all going to be on the what do we give them train soon with all the holidays coming up. And honestly, I'm kind of tired of the mega stores. I feel like gifts I get, everyone can get. And I want something special. I want to give something special. And this is why I love Uncommon Goods. You're supporting artists and small independent businesses, and many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So people aren't going to be receiving multiple of what you give if you're shopping at Uncommon Goods. Not only that, but they're products that they're high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the US. It's just more meaningful. Am I right? I don't like to just give to give. I want meaning behind it. In fact, the other day I was on their website, and it just kind of spoke to me. There was this nightlight with planets, and it was a small artist, and it was honestly beautiful. And my kids love planets because who is their dad? Matthew, and he loves space. So Therefore, my girls love it. They are obsessed with this nightlight, and I can't find it anywhere else. So I keep telling them not to touch it because I don't want them to break it because, again, small batches. They don't make a ton of them. So if you want to get something unique for the people you love, get 15% off your next gift. Go to uncommongoods.com/Kelly. That's uncommongoods.com/Kelly for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. All right, we're going to get into some of y'all's questions, and we're actually going to start, girls who know football over here. You guys send them in, and we're going to try and answer them for you, / just talk about it. So the first one, we got a lot of these because it happened twice yesterday, but a Hail Mary. So do you know what a Hail Mary is?
No, please. I mean, I can imagine.
Okay, well, I was hoping you did because I was going to ask you why you thought it was called Hail Mary.
Oh, well, it sounds like a last-ditch effort sort of a thing.
It is. It's like you are praying.
Yeah.
You're just on your knees praying, Hail Mary, please just make this work. That is why it's called that, legit. So it is a last-ditch effort. You are usually down, and you're either in the middle of the field. You're not in field goal position, or a field goal is not going to win it. You're down 5 points instead. You need a touchdown. So Hail Marys, the king, we will call him, of Hail Marys, is Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
Yes. He has completed 4 Hail Marys, which does not seem like a lot, but that is
in his career.
A lot, yes. These don't work. So you want to blow his whistle? You can say, next time you're at a game, next time you're watching a game and there's a Hail Mary happening, you can go, I just don't know if this is a good decision. And your guy will go, what do you mean? You say, well, only 1 in 12 Hail Marys work. Just 1 in 12.
Statistically speaking,
I'm going to pray. I'm going to Hail Mary, but 1 in 12. That's it. That is it. Once out of every 12 times people have tried this, it works. It is a very low percentage. So with that being said, Aaron Rodgers has completed 4. Ooh, 4. I don't even know if Matthews completed 1. I have no idea. And Matthews got an arm, but he had Calvin Johnson. He might have completed 1.
I'll look while you continue.
Okay, so yesterday we had this happen twice. It was once in the Colts versus Texans game and once in the Washington game against the Bears. Okay, so in the one, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson, there are 2 different ways I feel like you could handle a Hail Mary. You can drop everyone back and put a bunch of corners in DBs in, meaning you are going for that ball. Once it's thrown, they are told to knock it down, which makes sense. You don't want it getting tipped up in the air into the other team's arm. So if you're on defense, your job is not to catch it, not to knock it to the ground. Make sure nobody else can catch it. Because if you do that, you win. If you're on offense, the only thing you're trying to do is catch that ball or draw a penalty, because that's where it gets a little dicey. But do you have an answer?
It's a little bit confusing to Google this one, and I'm also hysterical that the concept that you have to Google your husband to know something about him is so funny to me.
Well,
and it looks like he has had a crazy 60 plus air yards to haul during a Lions game against the Colts in 2017. But it's unclear to me whether that was a true Hail Mary.
Oh no, it would say it would say Hail Mary. You said
no,
Stafford Hail Mary.
There's a lot of him reacting to
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes,
we had a Hail Mary. One of his Hail Marys, Aaron Rodgers, was against us. That's how. Oh, it was devastating.
Yep.
And if you're a Lions fan, you remember it. I think it was in 2015.
Yeah, I don't think Matthews had one.
Okay, so they're very, like I was saying, they're very hard to do. But going back, so you are either loading it with corners and DBs who are going to go get that ball. There was a scenario, I believe, that they put Rob Gronkowski in. So maybe there's some offensive players out there on your defense, not on offense, on your defense. But the goal is to bat the ball down. That is it. You're not trying to intercept it. You're not trying to do it. You're trying to get it to the ground, incomplete pass, because that's what's going to win you the game. The other way to play it is you rush. You say, we're going to get to the quarterback. And that's what they did against Anthony Richardson. So the game against the Colts, they rushed him. They sacked him. Okay. That's something that's a little dicey, though, because you have less people covering the long pass. But if you can get to the quarterback, because the thing is with Hail Marys, you have to give your quarterback time so the guys can get down the field. Because you can't just back up and throw it. There's going to be no one there yet, because a Hail Mary is a very long pass, right? So that is another situation. You have to keep the quarterback up long enough for the guys to get down the field. But if you rush the quarterback, you cause distress, he goes down, game over too. So you either load with corners and DBs or you go after the quarterback. Colts, they went out, the Colts and Texans went after him. They sacked him. Game over. Oh, but Washington and the Bears, guys, and I know you've probably, if you're any kind of football fan, you've already seen this. There's a Bears player dancing or talking to the Washington crowd while the play starts. It does not affect, I will say, it does not affect the actual play because the quarterback scrambled for a really long time. So he got in the play. But the fact that it ended with Washington completing the Hail Mary and the Bears losing, ooh, that's a really tough look for that guy.
That's more embarrassing.
I know. And you know what? I actually feel like, he didn't mean to. And you also know that it really didn't affect the play, but it looks really bad.
Oh.
It looks bad. So, but what happened is he scrambled, got enough time for the guys to get down, launched it. It got tipped up instead of batted down. And it got tipped up right to the person in the end zone waiting for it. So usually, and I asked Matthew, I go, do you guys keep players out? Because everyone's going to go for that ball.
Right.
Do you tell players, some player or like two of your players to stay out of the pile in case it gets tipped where they can go get it?
Right.
And he was like, yes. So this guy stayed out. He's looking for it. He sees it. It comes right into his hands in the end zone. Game over. Washington wins on the Hail Mary.
Oh, I'm kind of happy for Commanders fans, aren't you?
Yes. Listen, chills. I love a Hail Mary. How about the quarterback held the ball for 13 seconds? Now, you're going to say, well, I thought there was not a lot of time on the clock. There was no time on the clock. But the fact that you can keep running a play, the play doesn't end until the play is over. So if the clock strikes 0 and the play is still going, the play is still going, still live. So he ran around for 13 seconds.
That's a really long time.
It's a really long time. And he got away from tackles. Incredible job by his quarterback. He's a rookie. He's young. That's what they do when they're young. Matthew, love you to death. Matthew would have given his life to try to make it happen. But it's just when you get a little older, things don't move as quickly. So happy. It's Jaden Daniels. And actually, I think Matthew said something about him in an interview, like he was loved watching him play. Well, we got to see that yesterday, which is pretty freaking awesome.
This is, I feel like, what American football is about.
Oh, it's so fun. So those Hail Marys are really, really fun. They rarely work. So when they do work, rejoice in them because it's, unless it's against you. Bears fans, I'm so sorry. Because we've all been there as when we were with Detroit, or when I was a Lions fan. Well, when we were Lions fans, whatever. And it's really tough to be on the other side. And you watch the players and they're just defeated that happened to them. It's horrible, but it's also great for Washington. So, you got to win, you got to lose. This is why kids need to win and lose, because in life, you win and lose. You can't tie. Well, I guess you can. We'll get into that on another podcast. All right. Have you taken the mask off? Have you tried BetterHelp? If you're the one that I was speaking to last week about wearing a mask, take it off. Go to BetterHelp. You don't need to wear a mask except for Halloween parties. And turns out Halloween's almost over. So I've really benefited from BetterHelp. Honestly, I am loving the therapist I am with. It took a second to get to that therapist, but they were on top of it and quick. There's no waiting rooms. It's very convenient. It's when I need it. And honestly, I have just learned a lot about myself and about how I can change things around me and cope with certain things. So I can't stress enough how much I love BetterHelp. It has been such an amazing thing for me. And honestly, with the holidays coming up, with the stress of the holidays, there's no better time to look into it. So if you've been thinking about therapy, think no longer. Take off that mask with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/morningafter today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morningafter. So, another question that continued being asked was clock management. And this could be a whole podcast in itself. So, instead of really diving into all of clock management, I'm just going to answer a real quick question. And it was, I believe, when you spike the ball, why does the clock stop? So I'm just going to tell you guys when the clock stops in the NFL. It is different than college. In college, if you get a first down, the clock stops. That does not happen in the NFL. The only time the clock stops in the NFL is for timeout, for a touchdown, for a field goal, all these situations. If a play is blown dead due to a penalty or something like that, the clock will stop so the ref can get the call in. If a player goes out of bounds running the ball forward, which we kind of talked about that, you can't be pushy. Like if a defender pushes you backwards out of bounds, the clock keeps running.
That's so interesting.
Yes. So that is why, like, when you're trying to stop the clock, when you don't have a lot of time, you're trying to go down and score, they are telling you to get to the sidelines because they want you to get out of bounds to stop the clock. But if you are going out of bounds and say a defender pushes you backwards, you fight and they push you backwards out of bounds, the clock keeps running. It has to be forward progress.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I feel like people might not know.
No clue.
So you have to be going forward if you're running out of bounds. Also, incomplete pass stops the clock. This is where spiking the ball comes into play. When a quarterback, and what is spiking the ball? Do you know what spiking the ball is?
Well, it's when the center, right, passes it back to Matthew.
What?
Yes, oh my God, no, I'm trying so hard.
I know, the center hikes the ball. And Matthew just throws it to the ground. Okay, that's spiking the ball. It's technically a forward pass, so an incomplete pass.
Okay, because it's forward progress.
Well, that's more, yes, sure. That's more running, but it's not a backwards pass. So a backwards pass is like, that's why if you throw it backwards and it hits the ground, it's a fumble.
Right.
Because it's going backwards. But a forward pass, if they drop it or if he that's a forward pass. Incomplete pass stops the clock. Okay.
Wow.
So that is why teams will get to the line very quickly if they don't have a lot of time and the clock is running. Say someone gets pushed out of bounds backwards and they're like, oh shit, clock's still running. They'll get to the line, they'll spike the ball to stop it to get a play in.
So you're on defense, you're trying to knock them out
backwards if you can. Or yes. Now, and that goes true for catching a pass and running. So if they catch it and they're running and they go out of bounds, clock stops. But if you push them back as they're running, trying to get out of bounds, then it keeps going. Again.
Interesting. Is this just because, or is there a reason?
You can ask the NFL that. I have no fucking idea.
We need to get a ref on this show.
I know. We've talked about it. I'm going to try. Could you imagine though? Poor guys. I would never. If one job in the world, I would never. Well, no, there's a lot of jobs I wouldn't want to have, but being a ref, there's no love. There's zero love.
Nope.
Because someone's going to hate you at the end of the game. A lot of people, but don't know which side, but someone's going to say you messed up. I mean, there's just no winning if you're a ref.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, so I would love to talk to them about it and see how their mental health's going.
I think we're cute enough. I think they'd want to come on the show, no?
I don't know. They'll be like, nah, we've seen your headlines. I don't know. No, but so those are the times that the clock stops, which really comes into play when you're doing clock management, which if you watched the Jets game yesterday, or there were actually a few games where clock management was a topic during post-game interviews, but that's part of being a coach and a quarterback. That's part of your job is clock management. And so, those are the ways to stop the clock. That's it. Otherwise, the clock is running. There's a 40, and real quick, play clock, which is part of clock management, because this is where delay of games and stuff like that, 40 seconds. From when the play ends to when the play starts again, 40 seconds.
Okay, so meaning that's how long you have to regroup.
Huddle, get a play in, get the next play off.
Right.
Yes. And so again, if this is where home crowds come into play, if people are loud, quarterbacks can't understand the play call coming through their helmet, puts a delay in the entire just like huddle and everything, and sometimes can create chaos at the line, also delays of games. So before we end this, I really thought the Rams fans did an incredible job on Thursday. Now were we outnumbered? Maybe. But damn, were we loud. And so, and I've like really thought about this and I'm thinking, okay, why is it always like this? Well, you know what? LA is a destination people want to come to. They want to see it. They'll spend the money for the tickets because it's a once in a lifetime that they're coming to see their team play. They're going to visit LA.
See SoFi.
See SoFi, which is a spectacle of itself. And you know what? A lot of people in LA are going, yeah, maybe I'll just wait for the prices to drop, or I'm just going to go tailgate and watch it at a bar. Honestly, that sounds great to me too. So I get it. So I was really proud of the fans that were there. We have been loud. We might have been outnumbered, but we've been loud every game. So I'm good for us.
Yeah. I felt a lot of Rams pride in that stadium, which is not always the case.
No, it's not. But it was really fun. That game was so much fun, and I did drink, which I normally don't do. But I know.
I hope you'll do this for the Monday Dolphins game too.
I think I might. I think we'll tailgate and do that for Mondays.
So much fun.
Yes, it was. I feel like everyone. We got some of the players' wives and girlfriends and moms involved in our tailgate and our drinking games, and I feel like it was a little like people just relaxed a little, including me. Like I wasn't so stressed. And if you are if you are a Lions fan, you probably remember the game where Matthew got sacked in the double digits against the Vikings when we were there. And that's all I could think about. So honestly, to have the cocktails and stuff like that it was good for me. But next week we will dive in to the trade situation. Trade deadline is coming up next week. So we're going to talk about all that. If you have questions about that, please send them in. I do have some things I want to talk about when it comes to trade situations. So we'll talk about that. And we'll see you for the morning after on Halloween, which is very interesting. We will talk all about the weekend that I had. Also, I don't know, maybe we'll dress up and have some Halloween stories. But until then, I hope you guys have a great week. And if you have questions, please send them in. We want to make this podcast for you guys to learn. If you want to learn the game of football, I'd love to be the one to help you with it. So if you have the questions, send them in. And until then, we will see y'all next
Thursday.
We will see y'all Thursday. Ready?
Time in and
Ryuta, baby.